Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be showing how radicals can be rationalized. Now, when we're talking about radicals, basically, we are talking about square root, we are talking about cube root, we are talking about fourth root, and so on and so forth. All these are actually known as, radicals. So, and of course, whenever we see them in any expression, it is very important that one know how to, eliminate them. So rationalization of radicals basically means eliminating radicals from the denominator. So I'm going to be showing it in two cases that can be used to rationalize radicals. So let's consider case one. So for case one, I will consider a case whereby you have for a over what? Square root of b. So I'm using square root radicals in this case. So by rationalization, so if we rationalize these radicals, this will return a over what? Root b multiplied by, so you multiply the numerator and the denominator by the radicals, multiply by root b over what? Root b. And so this will return a times root b, that is a root what? B. Then divided by root b times root b, that will give us root b what? Square. So square and square root, they cancel out each other. And this will now return a root what? B over what? B. So that is for what? Case one. Now let's consider case two. So for case two, you could have the radical in this form. So for case two, this one involved using the conjugate of the denominator. So using, right, the conjugate, using the conjugate of the what? Denominator. So if we use the conjugate of the denominator, I'm going to be doing it in two cases. So for a case where we have what? A over what? Root b, right, plus what? Root c, right? The conjugate, right, of the denominator, the conjugate of the denominator is what? That is root b minus what? Root c. It's just, it involves changing the middle sign. So the rationalization will now be a over what? Root b plus what? Root c times what? Times root b minus what? Root c over what? Root b minus what? Root c. So what we do in this case is we are going to be opening this particular. So this one will now turn to a times, so basically these guys are in bracket anyway if you are opening it, all right? So this one will also be in bracket at the long run. So we use a to multiply everything inside this bracket. So this one will now become a into bracket root b minus root what? C. Then over, so we still have what? Root b plus root what? C into bracket root b minus what? Root c. All right, so at the end of it, this will now basically this is like difference of two squares. I've explained that in the previous video, but let's just do the normal thing. So a times root b, that will give us a root b. Then a times minus root c, that will give us minus what? A root what? C. Then divided by root b times root b, that is what? Root what? B what? Square. Root b times minus root c, that will give us what? Minus what? Root what? bc. Then root c times root b, that will be a plus what? Root what? bc, right? So let me extend this. Then root c times minus root c, that will give us minus what? Root c what? Square. So minus root bc plus root bc, both of them will cancel out. So the resulting answer will now be what? A root what? B minus what? A what? Root c. Then over what? Root b square. So square and square root, they cancel out. then square and square roots, they cancel out. So this one will now turn to what? B, right, minus what? C. All right. So that is the rationalized form. Actually, what I actually needed to show is just the conjugate, right? So this will now give us what? That is what? B minus C. So this is the rationalized form, excuse me, of that particular expression. You realize that there is no square root again in the what? In the denominator. So let's consider another case. If you have it in this form, for instance, if you also have what? For A over what? Root B minus what? Root C. Don't forget what I did here is A over root B plus root C. So I'm now using A over root B, minus what? Root C. So the conjugate, right, of the denominator, right, is what? Root B plus what? Root C. Okay, so since we've gotten this, we now use the whole of this expression to multiply, the denominator to multiply this and the numerator as well. So this will now give us A over what? Root B minus root C, right, times root B plus root C over what? Root B plus what? Root C. Well, let me open it. This one will return A into bracket root B plus what? Root C divided by root B minus what? Root C into bracket what? Root B plus what? Root C. All right. So basically, this is more like a difference of 2 squared. That would be what? This one, we just like, I wouldn't have to waste much time. Let me just open this bracket. A times root B, that is what? A root what? B. A times root C plus what? A what? Root C divided by, this is B minus root C into bracket B plus root C. Is the same thing as saying B square root B square minus what? Root what? C square. All right. Or let me put it this way. Pardon me. This one is like saying root what? B what? Square, right, minus what? Square root of what? Square root of C, square. It's similar to what I did here. The only difference is that I opened the brackets here. When we say difference of 2 square, let me quickly explain. Difference of 2 square basically tells us that if you have what? A square minus B square is the same thing as A plus B, right, into bracket A minus what? B. So that implies that if you have A plus B into bracket A minus B, just like what we have here, root B plus root C into bracket root B minus root C, then we can take it as A square minus B square. That's why we have root B square minus root C square. Of course, if you open this bracket, you still get the same thing. So this one will now return A root B plus what? A root what? C divided by square cancel square root, square cancel square root. That will give us what? B minus what? C. So that is that, about that. I want to believe the only difference between the two is that this numerator is plus, minus, while this one is plus. I want to believe this video accepts so. And please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and give this video a thumbs up. See you in the next video. Thank you.